We're coming off a big weekend in our house. Ashley turned 16 as the tears fall. It was my mom's birthday, Brody's gotcha day, my brother in law's birthday. We had sports, then a party, and I go big on birthdays in my house. We have a lot of traditions that I try to keep up, and they're totally worth it. But I'm really exhausted after last week. And after I finish recording this episode, I'll be preparing for our trip to Boston. We leave in 3 days, going for four. And then we come home, and in less than 48 hours from getting home, I'm back out the door headed to Cincinnati for the first time in my life for a work trip. So I need to somehow prepare for that too. It's a lot to think about, and it's what we'll be focusing on this week, preparing for a work trip as a working mom. And we're starting with today's quote by Benjamin Franklin. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail.
Welcome to Mom Wife Career Life's weekly empowering episode of Monday's Motivational Mindset. And you know what that means. It's time to kickstart your week with a boost of inspiration, positivity, and a full lot of motivation. Working moms, I get it. Mondays can be tough. We all know that. But they're also a chance for a fresh start, a new opportunity, and the perfect day to set the tone for a successful week ahead. I'm Kerri Pat, your host and fellow working mom. Every week, I'll be sharing a motivational quote and we'll break it down, share stories, and uncover the wisdom it holds for our unique journey as working moms. So whether you're getting ready for work, making those school lunches, or just enjoying a quiet moment alone, let's dive into this week's dose of motivation. Let's make this Monday count.
Today's quote is by Benjamin Franklin. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. This quote can be applied to pretty much anything in life, goals, events, time management. But this week, we are applying it to work trips. This quote hits differently when you're a working mom. We're not just talking about forgetting a PowerPoint presentation or missing a meeting at work. For us, failing to prepare doesn't just affect us. It affects our family because, let's face it, whether we like it or not, moms are typically the glue that holds the family together. We are the engine that keeps the train running smoothly. And if we're not around, it can all fall apart. This week, we might be focusing on work trips, but the same is true if you take an adult trip with your partner, which hopefully you all get to do at some point, at least once in your life. We are very blessed to be able to take one at least once every year. But in either case, you need to prepare to ensure that everyone is set up for success while you're away. When you're getting ready for a work trip, you're not just preparing a suitcase and checking flight details. It's almost like you're orchestrating a well-rehearsed symphony involving family schedules, kids' meals, schools activities, and even who's going to feed the fish. The stakes are high because the impact of not planning can have a serious ripple effect through your house. And let's be honest, sometimes that ripple can feel more like a tsunami. For example, if you don't plan ahead and fail to communicate your kid's schedule with your partner or whoever your support system is, you might end up getting frantic calls during your trip because no one knows about a key appointment or a practice session or where someone's soccer cleats are. And no one wants to see their home phone number pop up on their cell phone during a work meeting, especially when you're not even in the same state. The stress doesn't just affect you, but also your family, making what should be a professional trip and a little time away from home chaotic and makes you feel guilty. In tomorrow's episode, I do give you step-by-step tips on how to best prepare for a trip. So make sure you listen to that one. But when we fail to prepare, the effects reach far beyond the immediate. You might feel stressed during the trip because you're worried about things at home, which distracts you from focusing on whatever the point of your whole work trip was to begin with. But upon your return, you might end up feeling overwhelmed by the state of whatever you come home to, like the kids upset because they missed out on a practice because it wasn't on the calendar, or the birthday party that's the next day that you never bought a gift for that you now have to run out and try to find something for. No one wants to deal with any of that after traveling. So being well prepared is the tool that allows you to be fully present during your work trip and present at home when you return. So my challenge for you this week, mamas, is to take some time to create your very own work trip checklist. Break it down into 3 sections: family prep, work prep, and self-care prep, because self-care is the most important. Under each section, write down specific things you need to do to prepare yourself and your family for an upcoming work trip. For example, under family prep, maybe it's scheduling a meeting with your partner to discuss responsibilities and figuring out who your village is that you can ask for help getting your kids to and from each of their activities. That's also good to have, not just for work trips, just for those curveballs that life throws at us sometimes. So the point of this challenge is to get all your preparations down on paper. It's about giving yourself the peace of mind that comes from knowing you've thought of everything that you could possibly think of and everything that needs to be handled, and that everyone, including yourself, We'll be okay when you're gone. And remember, working moms, preparation is your superpower. Planning is your superpower. You have all the tools within you to succeed. It's just about using them. Preparing in advance allows you to step into that work trip confidently, knowing that you've set your family up for success, and most importantly, that you've given yourself a little less to worry about. So sharpen your pencils, open up that planner, and get ready to feel empowered because you're not preparing to fail. You're preparing to thrive. And honestly, as I'm thinking about it, this same mindset and these same tools you can use to plan a girls' trip, which is way more fun than a work trip. So if a girls' trip makes you more excited to create this checklist, then go for it. I'd love to hear about your next trip that you have planned. Come on over to our Facebook community, Work Life Balance for Working Moms, and tell us all about it. Sending you so much love and light. Until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Kerri Pat. Before you go, if you found this podcast helpful, I would be so grateful if you would take a minute, go on over to iTunes, and leave me a review. If you have other stressed out mamas in your life that you feel this podcast could help, take a screenshot of this episode, post it on your Instagram stories, and tag me, and let them know that they are not alone and they can create balance in their life too. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover or you just want to connect, DM me on Instagram at mom.wife.career.life or come on over and hang out in our